Hello everyone, is the video stuttering for you guys as well? Nah, this is looking sort of smooth. Okay, welcome to another live stream. That's what this channel is for, that's what I promised it would be, and here it is. We've got World of 3D here, we've got POW around, and yeah, we have the Anycubic M3 Plus on the table. So last time, 2 days ago, I didn't quite get it to print because I was running out of steam, to be honest, and it's not going to be the fastest printer, so the print itself is going to be a while. So what I'm going to try to do today is to get the camera working. There is a built-in camera that we got with the machine, so that's this guy here that looks like an FPV camera of an RC plane or something. That's going in the printer. I'm going to plug that in. I'm going to connect it to cloud, Wi-Fi, Anycubic services, whatever, because they do have that. And I now have a guest Wi-Fi setup or an IoT Wi-Fi setup that I can use for that. And then we're going to start a print. We're going to see how long all this stuff takes. Just to recap, Anycubic M3 Plus 9-point-something inch LCD resin printer. It has an auto refilling system, so you can see the resin bottle in the back. It basically blows into that bottle with a little pump, with a little air pump, which is behind the pillar right now, and it pressurizes that bottle, and with that it flows, the resin flows out of the bottle into the resin vat. So you can kind of see the pump unit back here. If I put my hand in front of it, that's the pump unit. Yeah, so I guess let's get started with installing the camera. And we've got Sim Will and Andrew Radford here as well. Good evening to all of you too. Oh yeah, I do have. I've got a cool remote on the on my tripod handle here that I can use to zoom in and out. Ha! Makes it a lot easier. All right. So the camera in here goes something like that. Basically, you have a little. I assume this is USB. Ugh, sticky. I assume this is just a USB port on a wire, and this pokes out of here like that. And it has quite the extension on there. And then we grab the camera. So the camera looks like a swivel base of sorts. And the cable, I guess, just goes through. Oh, don't dunk it in the resin. Cable just goes through here, and it doesn't. Okay, it doesn't sit down into the groove. It literally just sits on top of that groove, which isn't with the best of fits. This might be some universal unit, so you know, I'm not going to complain too much about that. It's got a camera, that's cool enough. Yeah, 4 screws. Why are they giving us 4 screws? We only need 2. But POW, I've seen the Anycubic M5. If you're interested in my and Stefan's take on that machine, I think I'm going to have to take that camera off. If you're interested in my and Stefan from CNC Kitchen's take on the Anycubic M5, then check out the Meltzone podcast. We discussed the machine in pretty good detail in the episode that is coming up this weekend. We just recorded that today. We need to send it to the video sponsor for that. And ooh, which way around does that go? We sent it to the, we still need to send it to the video sponsor, and then we can publish that probably early next week, probably on Monday or something. So lots of good features on that printer, lots of stuff that, you know, you really want to see on a, I mean, it's not a cheap machine, as Stefan points out, but hopefully it can create kind of a counter whole different side of things to the never-ending flood of Ender 3s. So it seems to be doing good things, and I do use a lot of Anker products myself. Not all of them are super great, but generally they're pretty good. So yeah, like I said, episode coming out next couple of days. We just recorded it. We just recorded it today. All right, which way does this go? Like that. All right, so there is a clamping screw on the side of the lens, and these M12 lenses, same as on the Raspberry Pi Cam or on a lot of security cameras, you focus them by turning them, and that screw basically locks the focus in place so that it's not going to come loose accidentally. And yeah, basically focus is set from the factory. I hope that's set correctly. I should be wearing gloves because I'm really close to the resin here. Actually, yeah, let me just put on gloves. Better be safe than sorry, because having to wash my hands here is going to be a nightmare. Oh yeah, so Meltdown Podcast, we are at episode 58. That's the next one that's going to come out. And we've been doing this for over 2 years now. Pretty cool stuff. It's linked in the video description, actually. But I know nobody looks down there. So you go back in. So far the manual on the Anycubic M3 Plus has been pretty sparse. Ooh, that locks in place really well. So wherever it said, hey, assemble this, it's not been like, hey, assemble it using the M3 by 6 screws. It would literally just say, yeah, assemble this part. And you'd get to figure out which screws to use. Because there are not that many screws to choose from, or not many ways to assemble stuff to choose from, it was always pretty clear to me how stuff is meant to go together, but realistically, yeah, I wish there was a bit more detail in that manual. So it's just 7 pages. Most of it is just telling you, hey, set it up with the cloud service, etc. Okay, so let's not kink these tubes too much. And that is on. So I guess we can turn the printer on and see what's going to happen here. So I'm going to put the lid back on. So as you can see, I've angled the camera upwards. And this right here, by the way, is the Wi-Fi antenna in the case, right next to the Z-axis. I've angled the camera upwards because there's really no point pointing it into the resin vat, because you're not going to see anything in there anyway. So yeah, better have it point up and just have like the lip of the resin be like the lower edge of the camera angle of our view. So I don't think I got any resin on my hands now. Slurpy noises, I know people love that. So do we have to set this up? Oh yeah, we do have to connect to the Wi-Fi. Do we have to enable the camera somehow? Cloud. Machine CN, connection status, camera status not connected. Ooh, why is the camera status not connected? Is that when somebody's looking at the camera feed through the cloud setup, cloud connection? Let me just connect to Wi-Fi list, and I'm gonna do that while I'm not showing you every single Wi-Fi on the block. Scrolling's good. And why do I have to? Oh God, this is going to be a pain to enter. Oh, and also it shows the Wi-Fi password. So sorry about that. It's gonna be a second here. Da 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 da. Da, da, da. Huh. And where is enter? The OK button. The OK button is actually at. Let me try and cover this. The OK button is actually only on the numbers page. If you go over to the letters page, there's no OK button anymore. And there's no option to hide the Wi-Fi password, so, and yeah, okay. Do I get to click OK here, or is that gonna? Ah, okay. Ah, connect success. Okay. So do we get camera status? No, we're not connected, and that is probably the ID that someone's going to have to enter to connect this thing to the cloud. So I hope that's not something that I'm not supposed to show. We will find out. The stream is laggy. Huh. Okay. YouTube is telling me it's very good connection. So I don't see any issues from my side. Okay. All right, we can touch a bit on what the slicer looks like, because I've had a look at the slicer and the files, and it was a bit fishy that it looked so much like Shitubox, but it might actually be Shitubox. It might just be a forked, skinned, whatever version of Shitubox. But more on that later. So Anycubic Cloud, I guess. Anycubic Cloud Home, forbidden. No, that's not what I want. Where do I get to the cloud? Cloud. Connect Wi-Fi and visit cloud.anycubic.com. Okay, so cloud.anycubic.com, and it doesn't work. All right, so Anycubic Cloud is forbidden. It don't work. Thanks, Nginx. So okay, so much for the cloud features. Perhaps the did I bring a burner phone? I didn't. No. Perhaps the app works that it can use with this thing, but I'm wondering, like, if you but definitely the the website just does not. I'm wondering, so this machine CN that it's displaying here, is that something you can change or that you can reset? Because if just this without any sort of confirmation gives anyone full access to the machine, as in like there's like literally a camera in this thing. So starting prints or looking at the camera with just that code, like that would suck. Because that would mean I could never like reconnect this thing to the Wi-Fi, because this code is now out in the internet. I'm gonna have to try that out. I don't know if someone in chat wants to try it out with a burner phone or something. I'm not going to install the Anycubic app on my production phone. But if anyone wants to use that code and sign up, like be my guest. I'm going to try and reset this once I get the cloud thing working somehow, so that all previous clients are deleted. But if this is just without any confirmation on the machine, that would not be great. Okay. So no cloud service. That's kind of throwing me off. I was hoping we would be able to use the camera and to get that working and to play with that while it's printing. So basically, we're left with where we left off last time. So let me show you real quick what I mean with basically this thing, Photon Workshop. I mean, look at this. This looks suspiciously like Shitubox. So if we actually open up sheet 2 box something, I don't know, I think I open up this one. If we snap back and forth between these two, it's, head over to the support page. Oh yeah, so they both use the same weird window manager that doesn't support arrow snap. And if you push it up to the top, it only maximizes in the vertical direction. Look, so this one doesn't do anything. Same weird window management that doesn't work. Double click sometimes work, but like support settings, these look so similar. Top, middle, bottom raft, top, middle, bottom raft, contact shape, depth, diameter, contact shape, depth, diameter. Remove all the same stuff here. And maybe let's try sheet 2 box Pro or sheet 2 box Pro. This one maybe. Does this still run? Does this still run? Maybe not. So while that starts up, let me head over to, nope. Okay. So yeah, sheet 2 box Pro does look a bit different, of course, yeah. But if we head over to the file location of sheet 2 box, and if we head over to the file location of the Photon Workshop, these look, so it looks like it's some sort of a fork. Where was this at? Photon Workshop. Yeah, 700 kilobytes. Sheet 2 box is like 10 megabytes. So there might be something going on, but either it's like just based on the exact same stuff. So this is like a cute platform. What was I looking at here actually? Hold on, I must have been looking at something else. I must have been looking at something else because before I started, before I started recording the stream today, so before I started streaming here, I was like, this looks almost identical. Maybe I had 2 sheet 2 box windows open or something, but yeah, to me this looked very, very similar. Actually, at this point, I'm not sure if this is like a straight up fork of the other. But it is definitely, so that's sheet 2 box, that's Photon Workshop. At least it's inspired by sheet 2 box. Let's put it like that. Jochen, it's based on an older version of sheet 2 box. That does make sense to me. Yeah, that makes absolute sense to me. One of the points why I was interested in this machine, in this very machine right here, is that it wasn't based on sheet 2 box. So it's looking like it's still based on sheet 2 box, but not the sheet 2 box that the new printers ship with. All right, what are we going to print? Tree frog? That is an odd-looking tree frog. Wow, that's going to be a tricky print. How long would you print? So just to give us a bit of an idea of print time, 1 hour and 19 minutes for a basic tree frog. So for the basic, how large are you? Scale, you are 26 millimeters tall. 1 hour, 19 minutes for 26 millimeters of height. That's rough, that's slow. That is really slow. So I mean, this is a large printer, right? So this is a printer that has enough space to print this. What are we doing? Y plus 90? Nope, not Y plus 90. X plus 90. That's what I'm trying to do. So if you go fit maximum. So now this would be, I guess these are the pre-rotation things. 200 millimeter tall. A 200 millimeter tall model is going to take 8 hours. Add 30 minutes for supports. Well, the supports, they don't add print time because it's exposing the entire layer at once. It's not really, it shouldn't influence the print time unless, of course, it lifts up the model. Reset. So what can we do while this prints? Did drag and drop work last time? I feel like it wasn't working last time. So that should actually work with no raft, no nothing. Maybe scaling it down to 60%. And then this is all default settings. It's gonna be, I mean, that will be a tricky print. 46 minutes, we can do that. Yeah, let's do that. So file format is a PWMB. Oh, that's going to take a while. Frogged? What? Fabio Mim, isn't the 8 hours for 20 centimeters about the same as an FDM printer? The thing is, you can't really compare print times like this. An FDM printer really depends on how much of the build area you're using up. We can chuck this into Prusa Slicer just for reference for like a normal speed printer. Whereas an SLA printer shouldn't, or is not, like not just shouldn't, but isn't influenced by how large each layer is. So we can dig into that in a second. Let me just get the print going, and yeah, we can chat and ramble about that all we want. But for now, I just want the I ejected this, right? For now, I just want the print going so that is working away. So the USB port is back here, and this is a USB 3 port for some reason. I guess the board that they're using just supports it. Refresh. What is that? What is that lock button? Why do we have a lock button here? I guess that's refresh. So tree frog. No supports, no nothing, just a tree frog. Should be mostly printable. Okay, Z-axis is working. It's coming down, and I guess it should start pumping some resin as well. Print time is 46 minutes. We did level the bed last time. Oh, that's pretty loose. We did level the bed or adjust the print platform last time. Ah, that's satisfying. So we should be ready to go. So it honed. It did the first, detected the door was open. Printing has been paused there because we knocked it off. Resume. Resume. So this is because it's because the hose, the rubber hose for the resin is in front of the optical distance sensor for the door. So that was, I guess, triggering the sensor and telling it, hey, there's no light coming back, so it must be open. That's a bit of a design flaw. We can rotate this around, and hopefully that's not going to be too bad for the print. So there's the sticker that provides basically a reference for the sensor. But if this hose is stuck in front of that sensor like that, then there's no light coming back, and this thing just thinks there's like an infinite distance. So really, these need to be like over here somewhere. It's a bit of a design flaw. So we put the sticker back, and there we go. I don't know why it pauses printing when you open the lid. I think there's nothing harmful other than like resin fumes escaping from the printer, and like it can't do anything about that. It's, you know, pausing the print is not going to do anything. So should be printing. I'm going to let it do a couple layers, and then we can check back whether we actually have. Ooh, I'm seeing a bit of a flaw here. In a couple of layers, we're going to see whether we actually have something stuck to the bed. So I'm seeing a bit of a design flaw. I don't know if you can make it out, but we've got the adjustment screws on the side of the platform right there, but we've also got the screws that connect. You can just see them poking through here and on the other side there. We've also got the screws that connect the adjuster platform, this U-shaped piece, to the platform itself, or the adjuster adapter. And these are, yeah, the rear one is filled with resin. The other three are not yet, but they will be in a second. So those screws, I don't think you're ever going to be able to open these after a couple of prints. Derek, yeah, I saw your patrons. I guess I'm not supposed to call it donation, but I'm seeing your tips. Thank you very much for your continued support. I very much appreciate it, and I do appreciate having you around on the channel as well. Thank you. Hi to New Zealand, to Adrian. Okay, and yeah, Mr. Maker, hi, good to have you around as well. That's been a while. So what I wanted to do is to give you a reference for how slow these print times are. So we've got so let's go back to 100% tree frog, no supports, no lifts, no anything. Default profile on this printer, which is 50 micron layers. So pretty thin layers, but 1 hour 16 minutes for the tree frog. So my default printer, if I go to resin printer, is the SL1S because it's so fast. There's just no point waiting for other printers when I've got one that's faster. So same profile, 50 micron layer height. Let's grab the same tree frog and let's disable pad and supports, and I think that should prevent it from lifting. And yeah, same design, and we're at 1 hour 47. Okay, I remembered this thing being faster. Huh. Why are you so slow? Okay, I take everything back. So the Photon actually faster than by quite a bit. Why did I remember the DS1S being so fast? 1 hour 47, and these estimates usually are pretty good, especially with SLA printers. There's no real deviation, there's no accelerations or anything involved. So I think we started to print at roughly, on my stream clock, 28 minutes. And we can see how good that works. Did I shrink the model? Yeah, so I did shrink the model before, but I reset it to, so the one we're printing right now is 60%. This one is back to 100% in both Photon Workshop and Prusa Slicer. So both are at 100%. I selected the wrong printer. Oh, you're right. You're right. I'm stupid. I should switch over to the SL1S. That's why. Yeah, okay, 40 minutes. Better, but not that much. Not by that much. So let's try the same thing. Oh, printer's making noise. I think that's the pump. Something's vibrating. It sounded like it's got skipped steps. And in fact, the LED on the pump, which you're probably not going to be able to see. Yeah, you can see the reflection over here. We used to have a red and a green LED, and now we only have the green LED lighting up. But I don't think we actually Don't think we got any resin dispensed. Because it's, you know, by the with the platform dunking in, yeah, that's hard to see. With the platform dunking in here, then the resin level just raised a bit. So I don't know what that was. Anyway, yeah, print times. 40 minutes versus 1 hour and 19. Okay, I guess that's not too bad. That's only like twice as much. It's not the worst. Does the factor change if you do 200? Can we even fit this on here? I mean, of course, you do have to keep in mind different printers, different approach. So with a 200% tree frog, we're almost at the limit of how much this printer can do, right? You can see in the X direction here, we're pretty close. 2 hours 18 on 200%. On the other hand, I mean, we do get the advantage here. If we want to, we can just keep it flat. We don't have to print it upright. So if you're just going by one specific part that you want to print, then what's going on outside? I guess that's the rain hitting the windows. Wow. If you're just going by, shop is creaking. I'm scared. If you're just going by how fast an actual print is going to print, like 2 hours 30, because you don't have to rotate it, right? You don't have to put it on its edge and use more of the Z height. You cannot fit this flat on a smaller printer like the SL1S. So now you're 2 hours 18, 2 hours 30. So basically the same time for that. If we do go back and rotate this about the x-axis by 90 degrees, so like, nope, like that would be the identical orientation. Of course, we're going to get more print time, 4 hours 31. Again, about twice as much as on the SL1S. So if we go back to our standard tree frog and we slice this on a Mark III with the default 15 micron, we are at 1 hour 10 minutes. So same print speed as on the Anycubic. So on par with FDM in this case. 200%, it's probably going to shift. It's not going to shift much. Yeah, 4 hours 45. So this thing faster than FDM for the most part, for like regular prints. So yeah. It's not too bad. It feels like it's a lot slower, but the numbers feel like it's a lot slower, but okay. So should we? I'm not hearing it separate from the FEP film, which is slightly worrying to me. So let's pause this, and I hope it's gonna lift the. Okay, we're doing one more layer, I guess. And I'm hoping it's going to lift the platform out of resin. Yeah. And hopefully those strips aren't going to spill all over the... Okay, it doesn't lift too high. What is that? Guess that's the autofill button right there. No real labeling on it, but can I lift you even further? No, but it can change the exposure setting still. So I can't. What is that? That's details. Okay. So I cannot lift this any further than it is lifted at this point. And I think I'm seeing something. Yeah, there's it looks like some of these strips have a different shape, so I'm guessing it's printing. I really wish it would move the platform up further. So let's just keep going. There's no separation noise. So like I said, I'm kind of worried, but if the textured FEP is actually that much better with releasing, then that would be pretty good. So noise levels, noise readout, that's something that typically gets asked in these live streams as well. So I'm going to be at a roughly 1 meter, and I'm going to shut up for a second. "48 decibels. It's not too bad. Somebody said, hey, you got to point it at the thing. 48 decibels. This is an omnidirectional microphone. The direction doesn't matter. So, yeah. What would suck if depending on how you pointed, that it would change the decibel readout. No, 48 decibels. A bit more if the motor moves because you hear the steps, but it's not too bad. It does have a fan in there. It is noticeable. It wouldn't want to have it next to me on a desk, but it's all right. I've had worse printers, especially with fan noise and all that. So what I would like to check out is the file format that we're getting out of the It's Not Sheet2Box slicer. Torsten is asking about the resin refill, or comparing it to the resin refill on the Jupiter. Maybe we can have a look at that in a second. So let's check out what our file format is. So let's save that to disk again. Just save to desktop, whatever. And okay, maybe let's not do the. Nope. Maybe let's not do the 20,000 layer print. Reset. What is this? Use the facet as grow. Do I? Okay, that's auto oriented. Place on face. Is that going to be faster? A little bit. So we're going to take a quick look at the file format there. Cookie, what is up with my Voron? Well, the Voron is sitting behind me. It's not getting used that much currently. I don't have that much time for printing stuff. I built out the entire workshop here. I'm also renovating stuff at home. So I'm quite filled up with stuff to do. But yeah, it's still there, it's still working. I do need to finish it at some point, put some panels on it, maybe get a serial number, maybe join the printed forward. But yeah, still there, still going strong, and it's still very fast. So yeah, but it's not seeing that much use at the moment. Okay, Tree Frog, how can we open you? Can we open you with 7-zip? Nope. You are not something we can open. So I'm guessing it is some sort of a... Can I open you with the Photon Workshop? Wait, so you can open it as a preview, I guess. All right, okay. But you don't get the 3D model, you just get the layer preview. Okay. So this, I guess if I open it with Notepad++, we're not going to get much. Anycubic, something, header. I don't know what I'm looking at, but it looks like data. Okay, no idea what this format is. If anyone knows what is the first layer only that small edge? Ooh. I mean, not on the one that we sliced, I hope. Do I have a hex editor? No, I don't. Yeah, if anyone knows whether you can slice third-party prints, you can use third-party slicers with the Anycubic Photon. That might be nice. Actually, let's look up if with the Photon M3. Let's look up Lychee Slicer and see if that supports the Anycubic Photon M3 Plus. It says on the printer at the front. Anycubic Photon Mono X M3 Plus. Oh, that's cool. So it's supported by Lychee Slicer out of the box. That's pretty nice. Pretty nice. Okay. So you do get a bit of a choice of what slicer you use. Well, I didn't double click. I don't know what I double clicked. And good morning back to New Zealand, or good morning. It's evening here. It's 9:30 p.m. But good morning to you, Craig. So let's check out the print. Print's still going fine. The filling solution of the Jupiter that Torsten asked about. So Elegoo Jupiter. So the way that this thing works, I briefly explained it. It has that air pump in the back, and it's got two hoses. Oh, we're getting low on resin. Okay. It's got that air pump on the back, and it's basically pressurizing the resin bottle, and all the clear hose transports is air. So clear hose is under pressure, goes into the resin bottle at the back, and then the black hose, which is still empty right now, then feeds back into the printer, and you can see, maybe if I lift this up, you can see right there is where that hose attaches, and it's just got a little spout coming out. Oh, there we go, that's better. It's got a little spout coming out right there that's just going to pour the resin into the vat. That's all there is. I was going to check the first layer. The thing is, I don't have the file that we're actually printing is only on the USB stick because we're doing 60% scale on this one. So I checked, there's something on the bed, something happening. I'm not getting any release noise, but we'll see. We can maybe in a couple minutes we can lift the platform again and see what's going on there. So how I can't do videos, unfortunately. Where do we see how that refill system works? There we go. It's even on Elegoo itself, on the Elegoo page. Subscribe, air purifier, ball screw, there it is. Okay, so you've got a special cap that you put on the resin bottle, and it's the classic dog bowl filler thing. What's up with this player? Is this too many? This is all these YouTube videos are playing. Wow. Okay. My computer is not happy. Yeah. Wow, Elegoo, why do you have 20 YouTube videos auto playing on your page? That's crazy. But yeah, just as soon as this level is, as soon as the resin is at that level, then air gets in the bottle and resin starts flowing out. Pretty simple. Why the hell are there so many SLA printers? Well, they're easy to make. So with most of them being Sheet2Base, Sheet2 basically makes the entire ecosystem for you. You slap your label on it and you're done. Sheet2 has the LCDs, the masking LCDs. They have the control panel LCDs, they have the firmware, they have the interface, they have the slicer, they have the control board. All you do is you add a Z-axis, you add a case around it, and you've got yourself a 3D printer, a resin 3D printer. That's basically the Sheet2 building block system, essentially. And that allows manufacturers to really pump out printers like crazy. With a bit more of a custom solution with this, I guess there is a bit of effort involved, but yeah, they're still super easy to make. It's a Z-axis, it's a platform, and the rest is software. Yeah, it's printing, it's printing. If I tilt it back, I'm gonna spill resin all over the thing, but you can kind of see right in the middle there, right in front of the ball screw, you can see it's printing, it's fine, it's working. Yeah, there are not a lot of SLA printers. There's lots of one SLA printer. Yeah. It's kind of the same as with Ender 3 clones. The original Ender 3 was open source. So basically what manufacturers did was like just take those files, send them off to a manufacturing plant, change a couple things, and same thing, you've got yourself a 3D printer. You create a Cura clone, you relabel that, and you're in business. So of course makes it kind of hard to pick and choose which ones to look at and which ones to evaluate, because they're all essentially so similar. But here and there I pick one that I find interesting and that has some unique features, like this guy having the auto refill pump, cloud functionality, which, does it work now? Let's double check. Cloud.anycubic.com. Oh, nope, still doesn't work. So yeah. That would have been a cool feature. Some stuff that I'm missing, and I think that somebody in chat already hinted at, maybe not. The fact that there is no filtration, rubber gasket or something, I think, is that there's no air filtration in this machine, as you see from, does the SO1S? Yeah, the SO1S has a filter, as does the Elegoo Pro series, I think. So no activated carbon filter in here. The thing is, as long as you keep the lid on, as long as there's no air circulation happening, because this is sealed pretty well. I mean, this is sitting down on the aluminum flange here, and there's almost no distance there. So this is, yeah, not even a piece of paper that you could fit in there. So realistically, as long as you leave the lid on, there's not going to be any air circulation in or out of this cage. The only openings really are the wire pass-throughs down below from the camera and from the pump. So otherwise, this is completely sealed off, and you do not need a rubber gasket here. You don't need a seal here, because this is already so tight against the aluminum. When there's no pressure difference, you don't need a seal. Yeah, so I don't think that is much of a disadvantage with this thing not having any sort of a filtration going on, because as soon as you start sucking air, actively start sucking air through, you're just creating that pressure difference. You are creating that airflow out of the build envelope, and at that point you do need some sort of filter. But as long as this thing is closed and tight, it's fine, and you get that whiff of resin. In either case, even if you have some sort of an active filtering system. Right, what else is there to talk about this machine? So one thing that I do like about resin printers is when they have the swivel head hinge thing that can just tilt up. With this one, it kind of doesn't work because it bumps into the bottle at the back. But of course, this isn't that. This is just a regular loose lid. Kind of sucks for moving it around, because these do slide up. Ooh, these do slide about. Let me adjust that foot. These do slide about quite a bit, and just using the printer, it's a lot easier just being able to flip it back and flip it onto the machine again, and not having to lift this off of the machine, put it back on, and do all that jazz. Not a big deal, not a huge deal. Yeah. Has anyone tried if they can register the printer with that key that I showed on the app? Is anyone trying that on a burner phone? Yeah, so Mr. Maker pointing out cloud is my kryptonite unless it's on my own server. That is a valid concern. Is the cloud service of your device, is that something you're still going to be able to use in, I don't know, a year, 2 years, 5 years, or is your machine just going to become, I'm not going to say useless, but less useful? Because, you know, companies don't intend on running cloud services forever. It costs them money, it costs them infrastructure, it costs them money for infrastructure, it costs them money for maintenance. So at some point, the cloud service is going to go away, or like we're seeing, it might just intermittently not work. Will it become a paid subscription service after a year? Yeah, Andrew, that's a great point. That's something you can't exactly, well, you don't know. There's no way of telling. They monetize it or they kill it. Yeah, exactly. That's basically the long-term goal. Because if it just costs them money to keep running, then why keep it running? There's no obvious point for that. It kind of sucks to see so many services going towards subscription. I mean, even with cars, like you subscribe for heated seats. It's built into your car, but you have to pay a monthly fee to get it. On the one hand, like, yeah, paid subscriptions kind of cool if the manufacturers actually have one product that they can invest in and that they can spend the money to keep making better, because that same product still generates revenue for them. So from an ecological standpoint, that makes sense, that you're not throwing away your product and having to get something new to get the newest features. On the other hand, yeah, having to pay monthly for something that you already paid for and that you already have, that sucks. That's just not a great move. You're joking about the heated seats? Please, yeah, I mean, that's how it is. I know with cars, like the model is, hey, you lease your cars. And I don't own a car, I'm leasing my car. Same deal, basically. You're just paying a monthly fee for the thing, I know. And you give it back after 3 years. I don't know. It's a weird new world. Anyway, yeah, so Printerbot, Daniel, I think Printerbot is not that they failed with the cloud. I don't think the cloud itself was what killed Printerbot, that, you know, it was a model that didn't work. I think it was just too big of an undertaking for Printerbot to do that, to build a platform, a cloud platform that actually works for their users. So, yeah. Different thing, maybe. Fabio Lupo is 20 years old already? Wow, I didn't think that car was so old. Or that model was so old. Huh. These are screws from that printer, but I don't think we need them. Okay, watching Resin Cure. Fun stream. I guess ask me anything to keep this thing going. Because we still have 18 minutes. Really? Checks out. Yeah, Daniel, so I think with Printerbot it was just they were trying to do too much. They were really trying to do too much at once. 20 years ago is 1990, yeah. Mr. Maker, am I doing a lot of DIY at home? Yes. So that's the current project. My mom's getting a new kitchen, so we're having to tear the tiles off the walls, the backsplash. So I'm doing the stucco for that. We're also putting in in-floor heating, so I'm doing that as well. Then of course the standard stuff, painting, all that. So if your parents built a house that now you get to maintain, that is quite a bit of work. Also, I mean, it's good because that's kind of how I got into like making and DIYing and building stuff. Is like, hey, you have something you have to maintain and have to take care of. You just pick up a couple of crafting skills on the way. I'm waiting for the sensor to start feeding, because right now every time the platform pulls out, the red light, which I assume is the resin empty light, starts lighting up. So that's when the two prongs actually dip. You can kind of see them just up in the air right there. Every time the platform pulls up, those dip out of the resin and the sensor triggers. So just waiting for that to start pumping some resin. Yeah, Mr. Maker, so the time for a second channel. Yeah, I do enjoy building stuff off camera. I do enjoy not having to lug a camera around. I did do a couple projects on the channel that were like more crafty DIY projects, and those were significantly slower to do because I had to film everything and I had to make sure, oh, is this angle good? Where's the camera? Oh, no, okay, you need to get 3 different angles of this one thing you're doing. It really slows you down. So, yeah. Maybe, I don't know, second, third channel. You do have to separate stuff out a lot now. Torsten's asking about the digital calendar, so the digital dashboard build. That was one of those crafty videos, and realistically I wasn't really building that much. I was building like a picture frame and putting a screen in there, right? That's it. But this is one of my best performing videos. It might actually be my very best performing video, which had very little to do with 3D printing. It's interesting because sometimes YouTube is just like, oh yeah, that's something that everyone wants to watch. But other times, as soon as I stray too far away from my usual content, YouTube's like, ah, yeah, those viewers that usually watch your 3D printing content don't care about it, so we're just not going to show it to people because apparently people don't want to see it. So that's a rough balance to make. I don't know. We'll see where I take this channel experience. But yeah, that digital calendar, that dashboard, very much still in use. I use it in the office. I don't have it in this office yet, but it's going to move with me pretty soon. And it's still basically the same layout. It's got the video calendar on there. It's got a bit of a to-do. It's got weather, some exchange rates, world times. It is still very much in use, and it is working great. Worth it? Yes, absolutely. Great tool to have just an overview of everything, an overview of what's going on with scheduling, with planning, and it's synced to all my cloud stuff, to all the G Suite and Google stuff. So that's pretty good. Still use it, would highly recommend. Fabio Mim, yeah, saw the bill the handyman wrote for fixing a leak, yeah. The thing is, I mean, they do charge you for fixing leaks, but who refunds you that money when you create a leak in the stuff you do? Hold on, I've got a great picture for you guys. Yeah, I can show you in that. When you use your Mauernutfräse, and I cut some what's it called, slots into the wall for wiring, and apparently my dad or my granddad, whoever put that pipe in the wall, put it like 2 centimeters under the stucco, and yeah, that's a pipe that needs some fixing. Cut clean through it. I mean, went really well, and the wires are in the wall now, but yeah, that's the sort of stuff that you run into when you DIY, and thankfully this is fixable. This is not a huge deal, but it's that sort of stuff that just yeah, ends up taking you way longer than expected. I can show you like how, I can show you how deep that was in the wall. So yeah, basically this is the depth that was at. So that's the stucco, and it's literally like 2 centimeters under the surface. Not great, but yeah. Yeah, Stefan, CNC Kitchen, getting a new studio as well. Did he tweet a photo yet of that thing? We do talk about that on the newest episode of the Melt Zone. Like I said, should be out in the next couple of days. He's not signed anything on that yet, but it looks like he's getting a new studio as well. But it's the same situation with him as with me here. So basically, this was a lucky find, and his thing was a lucky find. We're just the stars aligned, and it's a kilometer from his home, and he can walk or bike there, and it's the right size, it's the right price, it's the right layout, the right type of building, and he's probably going to sign that. For me, this is the same situation. I looked up on, actually my mom looked up on eBay Classifieds, Kleinanzeigen, and saw an ad with like no images, no description, just saying, hey, 100 square meter Halle with heating and stuff. And I'm like, I mean, it's probably not going to be great, but hey, well, let's take a look. Okay, can't hurt. And it was literally the perfect thing. So for me, this is working out great so far. I mean, you can still hear the echo. It's not done. It's not anywhere close to done. I still need to, over there, I'm going to kit out a bit of a workshop. Over there, I'm going to kit out a second set with, I think, Halloween stuff, maybe? I don't know. I still need to clean up all the tools and construction stuff in here. But very happy with the space. Very, very happy with how this is all coming together. Actually, stream quality seems to be working well now, right? We didn't have any hiccups, any drops or cutouts. I did figure out the Synology settings that I have to do to bandwidth limit that backup. So yeah, basically that was the Synology backing up to the second Synology that I have at home. And yeah, that was just hogging the entire bandwidth. So got that figured out, and it's coming together. It's coming together. There's no lights in here yet, other than the studio lights. But yeah, why would you need those when you have 400 watts of LEDs blasting your face? It's good. Is the healthy better in the new studio? Yeah, so there's no ventilation in here yet. I might put in a ERV, and that will like really exchange the air. In the summer, I can keep the gate open if I really need some fresh air. But for now, it's great. That was the reason why I abandoned the old new studio 2 years ago, because I was getting breathing problems in there. And so far, it's really good in here. This is the first resin printer in this space. I hope my breathing stuff is not going to come back. But yeah, we'll see. Okay. Simon, thanks for trying out the Android app. Failed to create an account as all the input fields are labeled white font on white background. Oh God. That sucks. Oh, I skipped over one question a while ago. I hope that is still relevant. Somebody was asking about whether I would go SLS or FDM. Where did that message go? Chat message somewhere. Would I go SLS or FDM? Depends on what you want to do. FDM is cheaper. It's it's faster because you skip all the post-processing. It is much less messy, but it doesn't give you the same amount of detail. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of things. Ooh, Torsten, changing an oil heater to a heat pump. Yeah, heat pump coming next year for us probably. This building is already heated with a heat pump. There's 30 kilowatts of solar up on the roof, and we've got in-floor heat pump based heating. So I'm all for that. I'm very happy with that. But yeah, home is currently being heated with a couple of mini splits from solar, of course, as well. But yeah, warm water is still gas, and that needs to go sooner than later. Daniel, drilling into toilet cisterns. Yeah, so in Germany we have like wall built-in toilet cisterns, and typically those are behind the toilet seats. But yeah, if you drill into those, that's one hell of a fixing job. Oh, Andrew, okay, that was you. Okay, so hope that answered that. Yeah. From kerosene to a solar-powered heat pump. Yeah. And I find it great to have the amount of solar on the roof that I have. For a bit over a year, I've had a total of 30 kilowatts on there, and it's right now for 2 or 3 weeks. We've been going completely independent, off-grid essentially. So it is, of course, a grid-tied system. You kind of have to do that legally. But yeah, here's a quick, if anyone's interested in that, because I mean that looks the same. If anyone's interested in that is my solar generation for April, 477 kilowatt hours so far. And if we enable grid purchase, come on. Yeah, you can see only little bits of red at the start of the month. And then that was last month. Yeah, last month was almost completely off-grid as well. So that's pretty good. I do have a 10 kilowatt hour SMA battery system, cannot recommend. It does work reliably, but it's kind of shit. I do have a 10 kilowatt SMA battery, and I do have a DIY battery system that is not, you can't legally have it grid tied if you DIY stuff, unless of course you get all the certified expensive inverters. But I do have some extra managed battery storage that does not feed back into the grid. So that adds a good bit of extra storage for like computers and stuff that you can power off of DC. I did make a video about that, not very popular, but that's what I'm running. Lucas, where do I live? So I live in Bavaria, near the, well, there's nothing else here, at the BMW plant, so near Dingolfing. Yeah, Andrew. So I was running a 10 kilowatt solar system for 2 years or something before I decided to expand to 30. 30 is a legal limit that I can run on the roof. After that, my grid operator is like, nah, we're gonna have to do some real digging to get you above 30, and that's gonna be expensive. But 100 panels do fill up the roof and the garage pretty nicely. So. Yeah, works out well. Could have done more, could have used more efficient panels, but at the end, it doesn't really matter when you're limited to 30 kilowatts anyway. Daniel, yeah, they developed solar panels which also produce energy at night. I saw that, but how much energy are you going to harvest at night? I mean, you might get some, but I doubt it's going to be more than 0.1% of what you get during the day. So probably not worth it. Aerospace engineering. Hey, Lucas, that sounds cool. With the Prusa Mark 3S and a small ink. Love your high quality videos every time. Well, thank you. And greetings back to Aachen. So you're at the what's called the Erha TV Hachen. CMC, okay. I mean, that's a good setup. That's a good setup. All right. Andrew, how much do 100 panels weigh? 2 tons? I guess. I mean, it sounds like a lot, but it's not actually a lot when you compare it to how much snow load and stuff is on the roof. I'm just looking at I'm trying to find a random data sheet for one of these, but they're not that heavy per piece. You can easily carry them with just one person. Data sheet. Random Axitech. Oh, we're getting resin fillage. Hold on, I'm gonna stop my wow. I don't think that's how it's supposed to look. I think that's just all the initial air evacuating out of the hose. Or is it? And I feel like that would make a mess over time. And you can hear how that's spewing out. Why is there so much air with it? Well, so if I disconnect the air hose, hope I'm not going to get any resin splashing up at me here. Wow, there is a significant amount of air going through this. Wow, this thing is pressurized. Ooh. Yeah, so just feeling how much, maybe I can put it up to my mic. There is quite a bit of air coming out, so if I put this back on the bottle, you can actually hear the pump bogging down. So there is quite a bit of pressure on the bottle, which makes me somewhat uncomfortable having a pressurized bottle of toxic resin sitting in the printer. It's like a little IED back there. But I'm still not sure why it's filling the resin like that, why there is so much air in there. Is it still pumping? No, Is it sucking the air back out? It's sucking the air back out. It's reversing. And you can hear it gargle back here. Okay. Interesting. Wow. Still dripping though. Or was that, no, that was the bed. That was the bed. Huh. Yeah, airbrush resin. Okay, so while I let this drip off just a bit, yeah, 18.5 kilograms, that's how much a solar panel weighs typically. All right. You can see the frog printed. Tree frog by Moreno P. Printed just about perfectly, from what I can tell from this angle. No peelage happening. The bottom looks good, but of course it is still flooded with resin. So let me get gloved up. And I did bring the CW1 and the IPA wash, or the wash tank from the Elegoo something. I think I actually broke the machine that goes with this. I plugged it into a power supply, and it turns out that power supply was 24 volts and it only needs 12. So yeah, it's not very alive at this point. but it should fit this bit. So this is for the Saturn, I think, which is a 10-inch machine. That's a 9-inch machine, 9 point something. I haven't opened this in a while, but I do like this container from Elegoo. It's got a very nice seal in it, and I had no trouble driving this around in my car and getting it to the new studio. Ethanol filled with resin to the top. So let me get that dunked. Actually, maybe I should put some paper towels around here just to make sure. So I hope I can just grab the platform, plop it in there, and let it sit, and then we're going to figure out what we do from there. So lid goes off. Oh, who screwed this down? What a madman. So, okay, so the knob stays in the printer, in the SO1S. This comes out with the platform, so we can let it drip off a bit. Though it's pretty, not quite. Maybe just a bit of drippage. Yeah, there's not one of these printed angled holders included with this machine where you can just set it. Oh, I dripped on the machine. Where you can just set it inside the build envelope and have it drip off. And that works. Okay, we don't quite have enough ethanol in there. So this bed is quite a bit smaller than the one from the Saturn, I guess then. But if I rotate this, hoping that's not going to drop in, I'm going to go to, oh, hold on. Looks like a nice whiskey. Nope. I'm going to get some extra ethanol to fill this up just a bit more, so that we actually get this dunked into our nice cleaning solution. So you can see it's sitting just above the surface right now. Come on. Don't need that little restrictive top in there, a little nozzle. So yeah, the reason why this thing is so empty is basically when you're printing stuff on a platform this big, let me just make sure this doesn't drop in. If you're printing something on a platform this big and you are actually using the print envelope of your printer, then you will be adding more volume to this. You're going to be pushing a print into this liquid. In this case, it's mostly ethanol. And it's going to raise the level, the fill level in here. So if you fill this up to the top, you put something in here, it's going to spill over immediately. How clean are we? Mostly, actually, and that was pretty quick. So you can see the interesting texture on this bed. There's like a checkerboard pattern going on here, where I guess they have two different types of surface finish. They're maybe doing some laser engravings, laser texturing there. I don't know, it seems to work pretty well. You need a slab mat. I do have a slab mat, but I don't have it here. And the one that I have is covered with resin spill, so it's not the most attractive thing. But I do have a fire extinguisher, so that's good. I'm gonna grab some cardboard or some HDF backing or something. Or a piece of drywall. A piece of drywall could also work. But I'm gonna have to get rid of that at some point. I guess the drywall is waste anyways. Let's just get some drywall then. And it's gonna soak up a lot of stuff, so And it's a hard surface that I can work on, so that's going to be okay. Let's not. There we go. Random bit of, whoops, as I knocked the thing into it. Random piece of drywall. Totally works. Is the pattern also in the slicer and does it match up? No. No, I don't think so. All right. So they're not including, Anycubic are not including any sort of drying or curing solution with this. They're just giving the printer, they just sent me the printer, let's put it like that. Yes, they gave me this printer to try out. I do not have to send it back. No money changed hands. There's no agreement on what sort of content I have to produce on this. As per usual. Ah, that's where that's from. And their spatula is already falling apart. But yeah, they only sent me the printer and not a matching cleaning and curing station. I don't know if they have one even, but maybe someone can look that up. So this is the spatula they give you. It's not very sharp. You can actually see the reflection of the edge there. So not the sharpest of things. But let's try and get this off. Okay, that released easily. And all the feet and stuff came off with no issue at all. That's good. That is good. And we're going to put this straight back. Hopefully no ethanol is going to drip into the resin. That's good. Gonna put the lid back on, and we're ready for the next print for testing, but I'm not gonna start that today. Okay, so little froggy, you go into the, there's a bit of a lip there. You go on here, and you go into the CW1 for a bit. I mean, that's what I mean when it comes to which printer to choose. Oh, hi, there's the datasheet on my laptop screen. Which printer to choose, SLA or FDM? Well, this entire process is what you have to do with SLA only. And, oh, that's magnetic. And if you have a cleaning, curing setup like this is already the absolute luxury version of that. So if you have like some sort of drying setup where you have to do it by hand with a hot air gun, and then if you have some sort of UV LED setup that you built, or worse, cure your stuff in sunlight or with a flashlight or something, then yeah, that's just a pain. So I probably wouldn't, not advanced settings, one second, where is that setting? Where was the, there we go, runtime, curing, 5 minutes is fine, probably drying, 2 minutes is fine, and then we have a heat up, temperature, preheat, you guys can't see anything, can you? Preheat able to get to target temperature 25, let's just do 20. Should be enough for now. So yeah, okay, this is the absolute luxury solution already when you have something that has a heater in it and an activated carbon filter, I think, maybe not. And it dries the cleaning solution, the IPA, the ethanol off of your parts, then automatically switches over to turning on the UV LEDs and curing the parts in the same thing. This is heaven. This is what makes resin printers usable for me in the first place. So yeah, good solution. And as I always say, this or something like it is very much part of what you need to run that. So the printer itself really isn't worth much if you don't have a solution to post-process your parts. So that's, yeah, I'm gonna have to see what they have. Anycubic wash and cure and wash and cure 2. Okay, does that fit these larger M series printers, M3? Let's see. So CW1 is heated up. They have the wash and cure plus, the wash and cure 2.0. But it looks like this is just for the smaller machines. Yeah. Washing size. So this only fits the Mars size, like 5-inch screens, I guess. Dual purpose wash and cure, yeah, just get one machine, I guess. Yeah. So having something for a larger machine like this, I think really is worth a lot. And Elegoo do have the one that I pulled the tank out of for the Saturn. I don't know if they have something for the like 12-inch machines. But yeah, absolute godsend to have something like that. And yeah, the CW1 is freakishly expensive for what it is. I think this is like $700. It's a bit much. I'm sure they could have built it a lot cheaper, and I'm sure they're making good profit on this. Daniel, curious if Prusa runs the CW1 with a modified Marlin firmware. I'm pretty sure they're running some sort of Marlin on there. Why would they run a custom firmware when Marlin does everything already? But then again, they would need to really customize the menu system for that. I don't know. Filippo's asking, how do you know when it is time to change the bath of ethanol? So, to be completely clear, you're supposed to use IPA, isopropanol, isopropyl alcohol with its full name. And I don't use IPA. I dislike the smell. It is much more expensive, so I use ethanol. However, ethanol can degrade acrylic parts. So if you use acrylic resins, which the majority of the resins are, it can cause an overall weaker part strength of your parts. I've not found that it leaves any like surface imperfections or white stuff or issues with the optics. So for stuff that is just supposed to look good, it's fine. But sometimes you're gonna get weaker parts overall. Wash and Cure Plus is bigger. So yeah, you are supposed to use isopropanol with these. And there are some other cleaners that, some other cleaning agents that are not solvent based. Let me see, Wash and Cure Machine Plus machine. So those would be, I guess, a less aggressive option if you dislike using solvents in here. Though for just washing performance, I find that ethanol does work pretty well. Wash and Cure Plus, largest size, curing size 192/45. So washing size, yeah, so that's a larger machine. That's a 300 milliliter machine. So the other one was 220 or something. So this is a slightly larger machine, but I'm not quite sure if the bed, is that the M3 Plus bed? Yeah, I think the bed from this machine should fit in here. Gasket washing size, 120 wide. Yeah, that should fit, I think. Okay, so they do have the plus for this. That's pretty good. 40 watts. Yeah, so the question from Filippo was, when do you know it's time to change the cleaning bath? Basically, when it leaves sticky residue on your parts that either manifests in like loss of detail, if this stuff like gets so thick that it's like an extra layer of resin on your prints. Yeah, or when it doesn't clean the resin off sufficiently anymore. So you can use it for quite a long time. What I often like to do is just to run one bath of resin and just fill it to the brim and just never change it, and then just dunk the parts in a second bath that I more regularly refresh. And then basically once that has somewhat saturated, I can dunk that back into the bath that is full with resin, dunk some of that out, and just keep refreshing it that way. So that does work really well, and it leaves you with very clean parts in the end, if you have two suitable containers. So we're curing. We've got 1 minute left on the cure cycle. You can see the light kind of leaking out there. Let me flip this. Oh, you've cured to the base. Let me flip you around so we get everything cured evenly. Just 1 more minute. Yeah, and this entire process, like I said, you have to consider this part of the resin printing process as well. It is not just the printing. Nathan, how do you dispose of it? So there are some. I'm hoping that doesn't create too much wind noise here. Maybe I should rotate this. So there are some approaches that say you can use UV light to basically cure out a part of the dissolved resin. That kind of works. Sometimes it doesn't get everything out of the resin. The resin is still going to load up over time, but it can get some of the contamination out, and it's just going to settle to the bottom. And you can use like a coffee filter or something, and filter that clean again. So that does something, so you can refresh your resins. I wouldn't do that with like my second clean wash bath. Maybe for the first one that's going to work. Otherwise, so I've asked around locally here. They will collect this sort of stuff as what it's called Sondermüll here. So this is basically not hazardous, but like special waste, and there's always regular collection days, like every couple of months, where you can get rid of like special waste like that. And basically what the disposal company is saying, this is treated like ethanol, like a solvent. It doesn't matter that you've got resin dissolved in there. You just label it as ethanol. You can drop it off there, and they're going to take care of it. So keep your original bottles on there. Maybe write, hey, contaminated with resin on there, and that's that. Definitely do not drain it, pour it down the drain, especially with IPA. IPA is a extremely toxic solvent for water-based aquatic life. Ethanol, not that bad, but the resin stuff, again, don't pour it down the drain. Very simple. Yeah, also do not just set it outside and evaporate it. You don't want to evaporate VOCs or VOCs into the open air if you can avoid it. So we've got our little tree frog here, and that is interesting. That is interesting indeed. So let me get zoomed up here, and I can give you the super close-up macro zoomy shot if this camera focuses. So, ta-da, there it is. This is looking good. This is looking very good indeed. So, one thing I'm noticing, top surface, it's matte. So I think this is a direct result of that matte FEP film. And honestly, I am very much liking the look. I've seen reviews actually complain about, we're not getting that crisp top layer where it's like all glossy and stuff, but look at this. This is basically hiding the layers. Where is our reflection? I can't even get light to bounce off of it because it's so matte. There's a bit of, yeah. I'm having a real hard time showing you guys any sort of aliasing artifacts because they are being hidden. There's the light. Yeah, they are being hidden by that texture, and I'm liking that a lot. Yeah, so there are a couple of ridges at the bottom. This might just be from the, this is quite an extreme overhang. There's like a 30-degree from horizontal overhang. So that's a tricky bit. That's a tricky bit to print down here, but even the bottom is very nice and matte. Overall, very happy. No pixelation effects, no aliasing effects. I am extremely happy with this print result. I don't know where that bubble here at the nose is coming from, but yeah, that's looking very, very good. Me happy, very much. Will it affect detail levels? Yep, that's a good point. I will be comparing this against my standardized print, the Rogue from Strata Miniatures that I print on every resin printer that I test. I've got the whole sample collection lined up, and we've got quite a bit of high detail area we've got lots of high detail bits on that print, where you can see both, like the, if you look at my Formlabs Form 3 Plus review, you can see that the Formlabs machine was very bad at producing those crisp details, like on the arrow shafts, on the feathers, on the, there's some specialized word for that. It's not furring. I don't know. On the feathers of the back of an arrow, it had like very fine detail, and the SL1S was very good at reproducing that, while the Formlabs machine basically slaughtered that detail. This is going to be interesting. I don't think the textured surface makes a difference there. I think it's going to be like grainy, but I don't think it will reduce details. So yeah, very happy with the results. Andrew, yeah, like I said, with disposing the resin, don't just let the stuff evaporate. You don't want to just evaporate solvents into the atmosphere. That is not great for the environment. Either they're going to drop out and just get into the soil anyway, or what's actually happening with VOCs is I hope I'm not misquoting this, but they will end up harming, I believe, the ozone layer or something, because they react with UV light. Or I don't know. It's not good. It's not good. So dispose it properly. Fletching, thank you for that. Dispose of it properly, and don't just let it evaporate. Yeah, you do get the cured resin left behind, but get it to a collection point. Thank you for filling me in on fletching here, Richard. Yeah, that's the stuff that the Formlabs printer does not do very great at with the Rogue model. Right. I believe that's it. I believe that that answered most, if not all of it. Yeah, we got through this pretty well. 2225. Closing thoughts on the unboxing. Not a review yet, but I know people are going to ask about, hey, what's your take on this printer so far? Loving the detail. Machine construction, really good. The pump system seems somewhat convoluted, but it does seem to work. And it even draws the resin back out of the hoses once it's done printing, so that's kind of cool. The unique features about this machine with the cloud service, the cloud service doesn't work. It's completely broken. So I've had somebody test the app, and it might be Android, the Android app, and I tried the web interface, and neither one works. So That part is defunctional. I'm going to have to ask Anycubic about that. So far, solid printer for how much it is, I don't know if it's actually that much better than a Saturn. But it's solid. Like if you can get this at a decent price, like even without the cloud stuff, it seems to be a solid printer. Okay, deeper look at the refill system would be great. Well, there's not that much to it. It's a pump that reverses direction. I might be able to take it apart because that's a pretty cool system. But it seems to work. Okay then, I'm gonna grab my Steam Deck and prepare my end stream button. That is right there. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for sticking around. Get subscribed to this channel. I think that is one thing that I can call to action here. Get subscribed. We managed to go from like 300 subscribers to 800 since the last stream. 1,000 subscribers would be really sweet. So click that button. God, I'm sounding like a YouTuber. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day, evening, wherever you are. I know the New Zealanders are just getting out of bed. Yeah, keep on making, and I will see you around. Bye-bye.